how do we sell more? How do you make more money in a business or in a career, right? So number one, the easiest way of doing that typically is through upsells, right? So if you sell food, let's say you sell burgers, very easy. You have a burger, you say, hey, do you want the burger itself or do you want a double burger? Like, do you want an extra patty? The normal burger is $5, an extra patty is an extra $1. You know what? Give me the extra meat, give me an extra patty. Or let's say you're vegan, you you get juices, right? Like fruit juices or things of that nature, which my wife and I love. Like we get those very often. So you get the fruit juice, and they say have standard fruit juice $5, add double fruit for an extra 50 pence. You know, you're like, of course I want double fruit for an extra 50 pence. But they've basically upsold you and they make maybe 10 extra pennies, you know, on that upsell. But those 10 extra pennies, guess what? Everyone gets, right? Like everyone gets the extra fruit because it's so cheap, or the extra patty of meat or whatever. It's a very easy upsell. So you do the same thing in services. If you're selling, let's say, marketing services, you say, hey, we can do your SEO. Do you want also to do maybe a conversion rate optimization audit on your website? We're going to get so much traffic in, might as well at least do this, right? It's just an extra $1,000 and it's just a one-time cost. You say, yeah, sure, no problem. And now instead of $3,000 a month, in month one you make $4,000, right? And then they know their invoice goes down to $3,000 after that. You've just made an extra $1,000 out of an upsell on that same thing, right? And so, oh, actually, on that, sorry, I misspoke a little bit. So on that, an upsell on SEO is to say, let's get a little bit more momentum at the beginning if you want to. So in month one, instead of writing 4 pieces of content, let's do 8 right in month one, just so we get the bigger boost of content, and then we can go to the 3K a month. And they'll say, okay, sure, fine, let's do that. I like how it sounds. You need to obviously work on your sales pitch and so on and so forth, but this is the main idea of an upsell, right? Once they've confirmed that they want to buy something and they even signed whatever, you go back to them and say, hey, I got this idea, what do you think? It's just this much more, right? Either right before they pay or right after they pay, you upsell the same thing, but a little bit better in service and a better deal, right? Now we go to cross-selling. So cross-selling is what I gave an example of earlier. Like you sold the SEO package, and right at the edge where they're about to sign or they have already signed, I like to do it after. Like I like to do it after they've already signed, you know, contract signed, money in the bank. I go back to them the same day or the next day, say, hey, I came up with this idea, what do you think? And so what you can upsell is conversion rate optimization, pay-per-click, PR, link building, anything like that, like anything else that's relevant to you, what you already sold. If you're selling burgers, you know, they bought the burger, you know, you've already inputted it, and you ask, would you like fries with your burger, right? And say, yes, of course, sure. Or would you like a soft drink with your burger? Or anything like that, or something else. And so you keep pitching them, you keep pitching them. It's the same with everything else you sell. You would say you can't do that when you sell shoes. Not true. There are those, whatever they call it, those sprays, those deodorants for shoes. You can just spray the shoe and it never smells. Or you can have the soles of the shoe so it's a bit more comfortable, and so on and so forth. Like you can upsell so many things, socks, right? Or cross sell, right? So you can do it in every industry. You just need to be creative about it, right? Smoothies as well. You sell that and then you can sell something else after that. I'm not an expert in the smoothie business, and I never want to be in restaurants for my own sake, my own mental health. I really appreciate everyone that has restaurants. I would not be able to do what they do, I believe, but I do have some very good restaurateur friends that I love to visit, and whenever I go and eat at their place, they always come out of the kitchen. We have good talks, and that's another reason why I go there. It's like very good customer service. We've already talked about this in the past, and we're at the point where all of these little things matter. When he comes out and he talks to me and he says, hey, what are your plans, right? Do you have anything, you know, in the future? Say, well, hey, yes, we have a christening, you know, like we're baptizing our daughter. Okay, and, you know, where are you getting the food from? He's literally giving himself an opportunity in these simple conversations with us to upsell other services or to cross-sell services and so on. And guess what? In one of these conversations, that's why I remember that, and that's why I brought it up today on the video, is because this literally happened like 2 weeks ago. We had this conversation. We went to a restaurant. The restaurateur was there. He came out. He talked to us. Right? We know the guy for a while now, and we literally reserved his services for a Saturday where we're gonna take like an event of 20 people we're gonna host at the restaurant, right? So they've literally upsold us, and it was amazing. It was the most natural thing, but for him, it's more cash flow on that day, right? So moving on from there, another thing that you can do is you can always ask for referrals. And again, whether you sell shoes, if they like your shoes, you can ask for 5 stars or whatever, and so on and so forth. Call them, email them, get feedback, ask for referrals. If you sell services, ask for referrals. If you sell houses, ask for referrals. It doesn't matter. Always be asking for referrals. And I recommend you even ask for referrals from people that haven't bought from you yet. Let's say you're having a very good conversation with someone, like you love each other. You're like, you have a bromance going on, or, whatever it's called between women, right? So you have all of that positive energy going, but you don't close the deal because it's not the right time, or they need to think about it, whatever. And you ask them, you say, Frank, this conversation I literally love. Like, this is one of the best calls I've had in so long, right? I really like how you think, and so on and so forth. And I have a very strong belief that birds of a feather flock together. So what I want to ask you is, who do you know, someone in your network, right, that you think I would work well with, right? And then literally, don't ask if there is someone, but because there definitely is. So you just ask who in your network. Like, you make them think. And always when you ask for referrals, don't say if or do you know anyone, because they'll say, I'll think about it. No, you ask a direct question. Who in your network do you believe I would work well with? Or who in your network do you believe, would benefit from some comfortable shoes, or would want to buy a house, or is looking for houses in this area or anywhere else, right? And so on and so forth. So who, right? The question is who, and the answer of them can be, oh, I can think about it. Does no one cross your mind right now? Even just one person, I just really liked our conversation. I'm curious, if, your friends are just as cool as you are. Whatever you want to say, sell more, get those referrals, right? And practice. This takes practice, practice, practice. I've done this over 1,000 times. That's why these things just come to me, as I think about them, okay? As you practice, you'll also get better at this. Now, number 4. What we recommend as well is you should keep your past clients engaged. You can keep them engaged by, calling them once a quarter, once a year, whatever, sending them a message on LinkedIn for their birthday, keeping them engaged in a newsletter or anything like that, or any other way you want to keep them engaged with content, with anything. Just literally keep them engaged so that you stay top of mind whenever they might need your services again, or they have someone in their network that might need their services again, right? And so you keep doing that over and over again. You keep them engaged for as long as you can, or basically forever. If you've had a client, you've sold them a house, you'll say, the number of times I sell a house to one family is once in their lifetime. Not true. The vast majority of people move at least 2 to 3 times in their lifetime, right? Either they move to a different house or a different location, or jobs or countries or whatever, and so typically you can help them, and then in those situations you can be the person that they call if they need that type of help. Okay, moving on from there, another thing we recommend is always focus on high margin products. So let's say you sell 10 products, and these are the 10 that you run marketing campaigns on. Typically they don't have the same margin of profit. We've already touched on this a little bit earlier, but basically you should always focus your marketing and sales efforts on the items that have the highest profit margin within your specific business. For someone else, like let's say 2 companies do SEO. Both companies charge $3,000 a month. One of them, let's say, gets it done for $1,000 a month. The other one gets it done for $2,000. So the same product or the same service, exact same results, exact same whatever, the profit margin for one of them is 33%, the profit margin for the other one is 67%. So this company that's selling it for much cheaper, they can or can render the service for much cheaper. They can focus on this item. However, this other company might be very, very profitable in their pay-per-click services, right? Because you have your specialties, you know your business, whether you're in law, whether you're in building, whether it doesn't matter what you're in, you know that, you know, chicken thighs are more profitable than beef, whatever it is within your industry. So focus your sales efforts, like your marketing, your campaigns, like your, you know, banners, your whatever, on the items that you make the highest amount of profit on, and then keep selling those as much as you can, right? And then the final sixth step on how to sell more is basically to never stop selling. We've made this mistake in our businesses so many times. You know, it's not even funny when I think about it. I'm like, oh gosh, we lost so much revenue as a result of it. Our marketing campaigns tend to be very, very effective because we've done this many times, and I actually own a marketing agency. So when we launch a new company, you typically see skyrockets in sales. Like, we've launched it now, in 1 month or 2 months, we're already a 6-figure company. Before the year end, we're already a 7-figure company. And we've done this over and over again, right? And we've done this for clients as well that say, hey, I have a cool idea. I want to launch next month. I need a partner. You know, you can do it. Here's my marketing budget, sales budget. You do it for me. And then we just do it over and over again. So when that happens, what turns out to happen in a business is that there's a very obvious flow in terms of priorities from getting more revenue to managing the operation at the speed and scale at which it has to be managed. A business that has, let's say a marketing business that has 2 clients is very, very different than one that has 20, typically. It's very different. Like you can't even note, like there's no semblance of you know, a comparison between the two. And then the 20 client agency is very different to the 200 client agency. You literally need to manage a completely different beast, right, in those 3 spectrums. And I realized, for example, with my companies, with my professional services companies, I prefer the dozens of clients realm. That's what I love. Whenever we're at a few clients, I don't like it because it's too risky. Like, I lose 1 client and then, you know, whatever, 1/3 of my revenue drops, and I don't like that. With dozens, I don't have that risk anymore because I can lose 3-4 clients and I'm still profitable. However, it's still very manageable with a small team. However, every time when we try to go to hundreds of clients, the business needs to change and shift in a way that I don't like it, because it's not a lifestyle business anymore. I love lifestyle businesses. I love businesses that I can just, you know, have a friendly conversation. This literally happened 2 days ago with the CEO of that business I was thinking about earlier. We literally, instead of having a video call live, we went to the basketball court and just we're shooting hoops, right? That's all we were doing. And we were just talking how the business is going. He was giving me a report, how clients are, you know, what's the take on new leads, how many new leads we have, what are the opportunities for upselling, and so on. Like, we had the entire business conversation whilst we were both, you know, playing basketball. It was amazing, and I love that. I don't want to get into, with those specific businesses, don't want to get into the corporate realm of, you know, how things should be managed in the corporate level. We had businesses like that. They're going well. Our clients, most of our clients are in that realm. We're helping them grow like crazy, right? So I understand differences. You should too. And you should see that at all of these stages, when you transition, you need to focus on ops, right? And it's a very big focus on everything that has to do with managing the success of the delivery of your product or service. And so what tends to happen is you focus a lot on sales, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, and then you start getting a lot of clients as a result of all of that focus, and then you stop selling or you reduce selling significantly, which many times then leads to a dry spell a few months later. You don't see it at that point in time, but then 3 months later, you have no clients, you have no leads, or very few, and now you can't sustain all of the new hires or all of the new costs and so on and so forth, putting your company or your team in jeopardy. So you need to be cautious of that. And so what we recommend is that you never stop selling. You figure out a pattern of selling that you can tweak, like you can do more and less of, and so on, based on the success of your company. And then based on that, you deal with the problem of too many clients. That's the best problem you can have in business in general. You have too many clients. I need to run and rush and do this service and render that product and get more partners and whatever I need to do. But that is where you would like to be as a business owner and as a team member, because then the stress of success is infinitely different than the stress of poverty or scarcity. I kid you not. You want to have the stress of success in everything in life. You want to feel that, oh my God, this is going so well. And now I have to do all of these things in order to keep my success. That's such a better place to be. It's not level 10. And we're going to talk about level 10 in a second, but it's at least level 5 of business, where if you get to up until this stage, you're successful and successful and successful, and you're managing that success, right? And so this is where we want you to be. It's a productive level of stress where you are excited, you're growing, you're getting a lot of results, right? So never stop selling. That is the final point here.